بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. فإذا نفخ في الصور فلا أنساب بينهم يومئذ ولا يتساءلون فمن ثقلت موازينه فأولئك هم المفلحون ومن خفت موازينه فأولئك الذين خسروا أنفسهم في جهنم خالدون تلفح وجوههم النار وهم فيها كادحون ألم تكن آياتي تتلى عليكم فكنتم بها تكذبون قالوا ربنا غلبت علينا شقوتنا وكنا قوما ضالين ربنا أخرجنا منها فإن عدنا فإنا ظالمون قال اخسئوا فيها ولا تكلمون إنه كان فريق من عبادي يقولون ربنا آمنا فاغفر لنا وارحمنا إنه كان فريق من عبادي يقولون ربنا آمنا فاغفر لنا وارحمنا وأنت خير الراحمين فاتخذتموهم سخريا حتى أنسوكم ذكري وكنتم منهم تضحكون إني جزيتهم اليوم بما صبروا أنهم هم الفائزون. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. قال كم لبثتم في في الأرض عدد سنين قالوا لبثنا يوما أو بعض يوم فاسأل العادين قال إن لبثتم إلا قليلا لو أنكم كنتم تعلمون أفحسبتم أنما خلقناكم عبثا وأنكم إلينا لا ترجعون فتعالى الله الملك الحق لا إله إلا هو رب العرش الكريم ومن يدع مع الله إلها آخر لا برهان له به فإنما حسابه عند ربه إنه لا يفلح الكافرون وقل رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. You guys know there's a lecture here, right? That's why you're all here. That's awesome. Good. Oh yeah, no, not okay. We'll just wait for a minute or two until one of the brothers in the back finish their salah, and then we'll start, inshallah. If I can ask the guys, unless you have back problems, which I hope you don't, inshallah, let's all gather up, inshallah. And the sisters too, if you guys don't mind. If you don't mind moving up a little bit, that'll be really cool. ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي آمين يا رب العالمين. So before we start, thank you guys for coming. I know some people are traveling, attending some sort of a conference. So alhamdulillah, I appreciate everybody came here today, inshallah ta'ala. Thank you. Who knows the topic for today? I always love to start with that. What's the topic for today? What are we going to be talking about? Does anybody know? Islam. Very good. Okay. Does anybody know what specifically in Islam we're talking about?
I thought it was actually
I mean, that means I can talk about anything and y'all just gonna go along. That's okay. So there's a couple of things, inshallah, before we start. I'll tell you the topic in a second. So inshallah, we're doing kind of a 2-night series. So we're gonna start off with something tonight, inshallah. I'll try. Does anybody know what time is it?
10:08.
What time do you pray? 10:15? Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to be talking for an hour and 25 minutes. But inshallah, if we're engaged, and I have a bunch of activities, right? And I also have money for winners of the activity. So just keep that for later. Let's get to work, brothers and sisters. And then obviously I have the candy as well. For those, I think a lot of you guys have heard me speak before. I do try as much as I can to keep this engaging, because it's just boring if just one person talking. So I would appreciate if we minimize the side discussions. We're gonna laugh, inshallah. We have a lot of jokes. We'll have a good time together, but let's at least minimize the side discussions. Let's focus on the topic that we're gonna be discussing today, inshallah. Okay. So the topic actually is that was given to me is around the characteristics of the believers, or the character of the believer. And if you want an Arabic word for it, it's khuluqul mu'min, right? The manners, the morals, the way that a believer should carry themselves. So that's going to be the discussion we're going to have today and tomorrow. Now, obviously, there's a lot we can talk about here, but I tried to focus on several things. Before we start, when you guys hear the word character, what comes to mind? Let me start with the sisters. Just anything. When you hear the word character, when you hear the word akhlaq, when you hear the word manners, morals, how would you define it? If somebody comes to you and says, what does character mean? What would you say? Go ahead. What does it mean? Yes. Very good. So one definition, all right. One definition could be, how do you act in front of other people? Yes. Personality. What does personality mean? I'll give you a chocolate. Tell me, what does a personality mean?
Like how someone, how he's acting with other people. Like, does he have a good personality or a bad personality?
Okay, like, are you nice? Are you like rude? Okay, that's very good. Anyone else? What comes to mind? What comes to mind when it comes to character? I'm going to go back to the sisters. Actually, we take 2 brothers because there's just 3 as many brothers and sisters. Yes?
I was going to say character traits.
Okay. What does that mean? You can also give examples. I have it later, but if you want to give an example, that works too. Okay, that's fine. Here, chocolate for you for trying. Okay, yes.
An example is like how someone like an honest man before it's them and
Very good. So honesty could be a character. Very good. Okay. Yes. Next thing. Your actions. Very good. So your actions are part of your character, right? What do you do that defines who you are? Very good. Do you guys do you prefer certain chocolates? I have Twix, Milky Way, and Snickers. Do you care? What do you want? Anything? Oh, here you go. If you guys want something specific, you can tell me. I'm telling you right now. Yes.
Be wise.
Ooh, that's deep. I like that. Very wise. Very good. Okay, sisters, go back to you. Anything? I know some sisters in the back too. Anything. What does the word character What does the word akhlaq mean? What does the word moral mean? What does morality mean? Anything. Very good, very good. I like that. All right. Last person. Yes.
How do you define what is right and what is wrong?
Very good. Oh man. Here you go. One more for you. Okay, very good. So there's obviously a lot of ways you can define what character means. And a lot of you guys have mentioned, listen, I have more questions, you'll get more chocolate. Inshallah, the plan is that everybody gets a chocolate by the time we leave. I should have enough, inshallah, for everybody. What we realize is that character, when we talk about character or khuluq, which is again, it's always good to hear the word in Arabic, so kind of sticks with you, is for you to know that is the way you carry yourself, the way you treat others, and the way you want to be portrayed. But there's a lot more to it that we're going to get to it. But before we get into what are the different manners and things of that sort, and there's a specific character that we're going to be discussing today, inshallah, in details, is it important? Islamically, from an Islamic perspective, do our manners matter? Doesn't matter if you're in a good manner. Maybe you know what? I'm just going to pray 5 times a day. I fast Ramadan. That's it. I'm good. These are my 5 pillars. I don't have to worry about anything else. Does our religion tell us how we should react, how we should act in front of others, how we should treat others? Does it tell us? What does it tell us? I'll pick somebody else. Hold on a second. Yes. Go ahead. Little man there. Are you okay? Yes. تفضل. Allah. So, sister, what she said is that you smile in your brother's face. Here, you want to give her a towel? Sure. Don't eat it. So the sister said is that when you smile in the face of your brother, that's considered charity for you. So to the point, the Prophet is telling us, even your own smile is considered a character for you. Now, there's a certain ahadith, there's a list of ahadith, there's so many, that the Prophet is highlighting the importance of having good manners. And listen to these ahadith carefully. One, the Prophet says, أحب العباد إلى الله أحسنهم خلقا. The most beloved people to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are those with the best manners, with the best morals, with the best character. Another hadith, the Prophet says, إن من أحبكم إلي وأقربكم مني مجلسا يوم القيامة أحسنكم أخلاقا. That the Prophet said that the most beloved people to me and those who are going to be close to me on the day of judgment, which means in Jannah, the Prophet has the highest place in Jannah. So he says here, the ones who are going to be the closer to me in Jannah are going to be the ones with the best manners. So again, obviously, for somebody to be close to the Prophet, it's important. Another hadith, the Prophet says, listen, this is really amazing. إِنَّ الرَّجُلَ لَيُدْرِكَ بِحُسْنُ خُلُقِهِ درجات قائم الليل وصائم النهار. That the person would reach the same degree of righteousness and piety through their good manners like someone who fasts the days and prays the nights. How many of us here, actually you don't have to raise your hand, just think about it. How many of us fast outside of the month of Ramadan? Okay, a few. I asked not to raise your hand, but that's okay, alhamdulillah. Allah bless you guys. Right? How many of us pray the night prayers? Like you wake up at 3 o'clock and you start praying. How many of us do that? Very few. It's okay. You don't have to raise your hand, it's fine. But what the Prophet is highlighting here is a person can reach the same degree of righteousness. Like somebody who prays the night, and by the way, I'm telling you guys something. A lot of you guys are young, so maybe you stay up tonight all the way anyway, pray Fortnite or whatever you guys do. So, but the idea is that waking up in the middle of the night to pray is not easy. There are very special people who do that. And you have to have a really high degree of spirituality and closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to do that. But the Prophet ﷺ is telling us that a person can reach the same degree, the same reward with their good manners as somebody who prays the night and fasts the days. And then the last hadith that I have here is that the Prophet ﷺ says, أكمل المؤمنين إيمانا أحسنهم خلقا. The most complete believers are those who have the best manners. As if you take manners, we're not complete believers. If you take manners out of the equation, we're not complete believers. We have not reached that completion yet. Now, question to you guys for more chocolate. Let's say a person reads all these different ahadith and says, you know what? I'm going to be good with my parents. I'll treat them good. I'll be good with my friends. I'll treat my teachers properly. I'll be good with my neighbors. I'll treat everybody. I'll be nice. I'll be kind. I smile in everybody's face. But I'm not going to pray. Because the Prophet ﷺ says, you have to have good manners. I'm going to treat you the best. I'm going to give you chocolate every time I see you. I'm going to smile in everybody's face. But I'm not going to pray 5 times a day. I'm not going to fast the month of Ramadan. What do you say to this person?
No.
Is this person going to be the highest level of Jannah?
No.
Why not? I just listed 4 ahadith.
He's not praying.
So, the Prophet ﷺ didn't say in his ahadith that you have to pray. All he said, have good manners, have good khuluq. And when you have good khuluq, you're going to be in the highest level of Jannah. Yes.
Or have a good manners, just like pray.
Okay.
So, I guess if we pray everything, that's fine. Have a person more.
So, you got a chocolate ready?
Yeah.
Okay, you're good. So, the Prophet ﷺ, actually, let me jump here. The scholars, and this is very important, guys, so listen to this carefully. Okay, I know there's a little bit of chit-chatting in the back, so if you guys can just kind of move forward, inshallah. Scholars have defined manners in 2 categories. This is very, very careful. This is the crux of today's talk. So if you leave with nothing except this, inshallah, I'll be good. There's 2 categories when it comes to akhlaq. First is your manners with the creation of Allah. So there's manners with the creation of Allah. We are all the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second category, which is more important, is your manners with the Creator Himself, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So your akhlaq with Allah is included in all of these different ahadith. Because as the brother said in the back, hey man, what's your name? Yeah. What is it? Kareem. As Kareem said in the back, is that if you don't pray, you kind of tell Allah, I don't care about you. You tell Allah, oh Allah, you told me to pray, but I'm just not interested. Right? Imagine your parents give you everything that you want. And then one day your parents come and tell you, hey Ahmed, can you take out the garbage? You're like, no Ma, I can't do this. This is good manners. Now Allah gives us everything we have. And all He says, you have to pray 5 times a day. And you're like, no, not interested. Sorry, it's just not how I roll. You can't do that. Because this is you having bad manners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, in mannerism, in akhlaq, in morals, there's 2 parts that are very, very important. One is what is your relationship like with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And what is your relationship with the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with everybody else? You will not find a Muslim who is a true Muslim except that you have these 2 down and they both are good. That's why, for example, a person cannot be somebody who comes to the masjid every single day. They pray the Fajr in the masjid all the time, but then the way you look at them, you just feel angry. You just don't like seeing them. They always bother you. They're rude to you. No. Because the believer is going to be both of that. And we see both categories, by the way. You get, and again, I know some of you guys are a little bit younger, but a point will come in your life which you're going to realize that there are 2 extremes. The one extreme are going to be those who are not coming to the masjid, they don't care about prayers, they don't care about any relationship with Allah, but with people they're great. They're so nice, right? And you're like, man, you're so nice, how come you don't pray? Like, dude, you should be praying, like you're a nice guy. And then you also find the opposite. Somebody who prays all the time, but then you just don't even want to be near them. Because they're just evil. They're rude. They have all these different issues. right?
like a bad person prays, that just doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. It has to be both. We have to have good manners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then we have to have good manners with the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is what we're going to talk about the rest of the night and tomorrow, inshallah ta'ala, is these two things. And they always, and every single manner that it's going to come to your mind, anything that comes to your mind, you're going to find has to fall into these two categories. You cannot be patient with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and not patient with your parents, or with your kids, or with your friends. Right? You cannot be humble to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and be arrogant with people. It has to be both. There have to be both. And this is what makes us complete believers. And every single hadith that I mentioned earlier, where the Prophet ﷺ said that the closest people to me in the day of judgment, and the most beloved people in the day of judgment, and those who have the highest place in Jannah in the day of judgment, those with the best manners, the Prophet ﷺ means these two manners. With the people and your manners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, I have an activity for you guys. Okay? I'm gonna ask, this is gonna take a little bit of logistical work. So I'm gonna ask everyone to break into groups of 4. Okay? But we have to somehow figure out a way with like the different ages. So like the 4 of you guys are not gonna be on one team. That's for sure. Okay. Okay, you guys are good. So maybe here's the thing. The 4 of you guys break up, and maybe grab some of the younger kids, inshallah, with you. The ones in the back. The sisters, you're 7. There's 2 sisters in the back, so maybe like 4 and 5. Because essentially the winner is gonna get the $20, and you guys somehow have to split it in one game.
Thank you.
When you leave, you okay, so just kind of go around the masjid. This is only going to be 5 minutes, so go around the masjid. Make sure you have a group. Be with a group. Are you sisters, are you all just one big group? And you're gonna spend the $20 if you win? You take it, that's fine. So you got a group of 4 here. 4. That's 4. So there's 2 guys here. There's a man in the back. Okay, why don't you go join them in the back? These 2 guys in the back. No, two of you guys? And 2 of you guys? You 2 guys. You 2, join them in the back. 2 guys in the back. So you guys all be one group. It's 4, 4, 4, that's 4. And you guys just got one group in there? Okay, that's fine. And then that's one group. Okay. So, pay attention. The activity is really, really easy. Okay? First, somebody needs to take out their phone, because I'm assuming none of you guys have notebooks. So take out your phone to write down your answers. Okay? I need each group to pick one person who's going to write and one person who's going to say the answer. Okay? So every group, one person to write and one person to give the answer. That's fine. Do not Google the answer. Okay? Do not Google the answer. That is not okay. Right? So, is everybody ready? No? Okay. Give the sisters some time. It doesn't matter really. I only need one person to write and one person to say. It could be the same person. Whatever you guys decide amongst yourself. So you guys are going to decide. Okay, all ready? Ready in the back? All right. So here's the activity. I want you to list any character that you think is good in Islam. And then, for example, before you start writing, you might say kindness. That's a good. So that's like a free one. So every one of you guys are gonna have 2 minutes. I'm gonna have a timer, and the one who has the most will be the winner. Okay? So you're gonna list names of characters or manners, right? Does everybody understand the whole thing? You guys are good? Okay, you have 2 minutes. You get the $20. The team. Okay? Yeah, let's do that. You have 2 minutes, you can list as many as you want. You're gonna list as many as you want, because the more you have, the more likely you're gonna win. Just keep writing.
Right.
30 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, stop writing, stop writing, stop writing. Stop writing. Okay. Everybody stop writing? Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I want each one of you guys count how many you have. Does anybody know how many you all have? You have 35? Inshallah.
Oh, I'm sorry. 35. They copy and pasted away.
So 35, 13. How many of you guys have in there? 17, 14. You guys there? How many do you have?
You have 0.
Yeah, you have 0?
33. You have 2.
You have 2? 33? Inshallah. The group in the back, how many do you guys have? You have 10? Okay, so there's 10 in the back. Okay. So let's start with the group that has 10. Okay, why don't you guys list what you have? Oh, by the way, I'm gonna go through everybody. Like, don't add anything from the other list into your list. I already got your numbers. You have the most, you guys have the second, so you can probably be between both of you guys. So in the group in the back, can you guys just shout it out? Oh, yeah. You want the microphone? Okay, it's up to you. Here, take the microphone. It's okay. All right, guys, listen up. Listen. Listen up. So when it comes to your turn, everybody listen to me. Go ahead. So Just list all the 10 that you have. From the phone. Did you not write them down?
What?
You erased it. You erased it by accident. Okay. You had 10. Okay. You wanna take a shot at it? Okay.
Wait, what?
Thank you. Okay, guys, give him a hand of applause, please. Very good. Okay. Who wants to go next? You guys want to go next? You guys are going to wait all the way at the end because you're the longest. Who wants to go next? Come on. Yeah, come on.
We said as a group, honesty, generosity,
Okay, guys, listen up.
kindness, accepting, humbleness, gratefulness, trustworthiness, holy, having taqwa, being peaceful, being patient, forgiving, listening, and giving.
Very good. Good. Very good. Anyone else? Do you want to go? One of the sisters?
You're fat.
What's wrong with you, bro? You don't feel comfortable, it's fine. It's up to you. It's okay. Just list them until you're tired. All right, guys, listen up.
Generosity, kindness, patience, purity, intelligence, integrity, wisdom, creativity, responsibility, compassion, open-minded, fair, hygienic, knowledgeable, truthful, friendly, positive, forgiving, respectful, modest, mature, selfless, polite, humble, optimistic, independent, devoted, strong, outspoken, outgoing, perseverant, loving, and honest.
Thank you. Okay. Does one go next?
Guys, go support. Yeah, guys, hey.
Kindness, humbleness, sympathetic, generosity, expressions, caring, helpful, bravery, optimistic, friendly, easy to talk to, hardworking, and mindful.
Thank you. All right, guys, listen up.
Honesty, courage, commitment, compassion, honesty, kindness, patience, morality, sincerity, respect, sympathy, empathy, selflessness, giving, caring, modest, agreeable.
Thank you. Okay, so do you guys want to go? Or did you actually have 0?
We had 2, but we messed it up.
Okay.
Because they said, like, you
You thought it was something else. I apologize. It seems like some of you guys got confused with my question. I apologize. It's my fault. Okay, let's give them hands of applause also. So it's only you two guys. Everybody else went. Okay, who's gonna speak?
So we had kindness, honesty, trustworthiness, nobility, humility, knowledge, leadership, strength, confidence, commitment, compassion, creativeness, fairness, passion, dependability, contentment. Compassion and passion.
Oh, wait,
Diligent, clever, approachable, open-minded, ambitious, dependable, punctual, resourceful, responsible, organized, insightful, focused, determined, courteous, charismatic, easygoing, calm, patient, and meticulous. I have a good vocabulary.
Okay, guys, let's give the winning team a big hand of applause. You guys are very salty. Come on, man, give them a hand of applause. You won. Okay. So, no, too late. You can fight them if you want. So, here's the thing, right? So, the point of the activity is not necessarily $20, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys can ask your parents for $5. Oh, by the way, that $20 for all of you guys, not just you. Okay. So the point of general activities when it comes to like some of these Islamic things is that I want everybody to understand that we know a lot about our deen. Like a lot of us know a lot about our deen. And a lot of the characters that you guys mentioned, we might think that, oh, we learned this in school, we learned this in certain books, but it's also in our religion. Like the Prophet tells us to have a lot of these different manners. And there's a reason for that. Which is why it's important for us to learn about the character of the believer. Because also there are circumstances, there are certain cases where you would hear something outside that the Islam might not agree with. Right? And now you start realizing, you know what? The Prophet and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants me to act in a certain way. Right? When the Prophet teaches us to be humble, I'm going to be humble with everybody. It doesn't matter what color you are, it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter how much money you have, it doesn't matter what kind of job you have. I am going to respect you for who you are. Because in certain societies, right now in 2019, they would respect you more if you have a certain degree. They would respect you more if you have a certain amount of money. While in our deen, it's not like that. We respect people for who they are. And that's just an example. And there's so many things that we're going to learn about together, inshallah ta'ala, over the next, tonight and tomorrow night, inshallah. So I appreciate, thank you guys all for participating. I hope that, inshallah, it was at least somewhat fun. And if you guys want, you can go back home and ask your parents, can I have $5 because I participated in that activity. So everyone, inshallah, wins something. Okay. So, one of the things that I wanted to talk about today, inshallah ta'ala, is like the second part of today, is that one character, okay, I'm going to ask all of you guys to, inshallah, put your phone away. I know some of you guys, unless you're texting me like somebody who's really, really important, just because it just helps to keep everybody together. And again, if it's urgent, please text. If it's something important, if something urgent, whatever, it's fine. I understand sometimes there's a reason for us to text. But if it's not urgent, inshallah, I would appreciate it if you guys keep it for later. If that's cool. Alright. I hope you guys are cool with that. Alright, cool. So, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, who's one of the great companions of the Prophet ﷺ, somebody who accompanied the Prophet for a very long time and learned so much from the Prophet, he said something so profound. He said, Al-Iman nisfan. Al-Iman nisfan. Our faith, our Iman, our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is broken into two pieces, two parts. Nisfun sabr wa nisfun shukr. Half is patience and half is gratitude. Shukr, being grateful. So he took the entire faith, the entire religion, and he said it's these two things. Now, you're going to ask, well, did Abdullah ibn Mas'ud get that from? Did he just kind of make up with it? Like, did he just come up with it one day? No. Maybe he got it from somewhere. He said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, in the Quran, إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِكُلِّ صَبَّارٍ شَكُورٍ. In the Quran are lessons, are verses. In the Quran, there are certain things for the person who is patient and the person who is grateful. And as a result of this, he said that that's why the religion is broken down into these two things. Patience, sabr, and gratitude, which is shukr. the whole thing. So if we walk out of this weekend being able to master these two characters, will be great. Because according to Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, based on this ayah, this is what's going to make us really, really good believers. And obviously there's a lot of other things, but you will find that so many other characters fall under patience and gratitude. Today, inshallah ta'ala, what we're going to be talking about, gratitude. We'll spend the next 20 minutes that we have together or so, we'll talk about gratitude. And then tomorrow night, inshallah, we'll talk about patience. And then we'll have more activities, inshallah, and maybe I'll bring more money next time, inshallah. Okay, gratitude. Who can define gratitude for me? When you hear the word gratitude or shukr in Arabic, what does that mean? Who can give me a definition of what the word gratitude means? Yes. Being thankful for what you have. Okay. All right. Yes.
Being thankful for anything too small or too big, like even if it's too, being content.
Very good. My man. Catch. Oh, okay. Sisters, anybody?
Well, I was gonna say being thankful.
He said that. Okay. You.
Just for like being thankful for like whatever.
Being thankful, whatever. Very good. Okay. Anything else? Yes.
Being thankful
For what Allah gave you. You said something very interesting. You said Allah. Okay? Which is really, really key. Okay? There's a piece out. Last person. I need somebody new. Someone new. You. Yes. Okay, guys, listen up, guys. Go ahead. Be thankful to be a nice person. Okay, that's cool. I'll take that catch. Okay, so scholars define thankfulness or being grateful, gratitude, is recognizing, listen to this, and this is why you in the back, what's your name? My man with the white shirt, what's your name? Abdullah, okay. Abdullah said something very important. He said, recognizing what Allah gave you. So this is important because scholars, the way they define gratitude is you recognizing the source of the blessing and the blessing. Right? Because somebody might say, oh, alhamdulillah, I'm healthy. But if you don't attribute this to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you don't have full gratitude. So when you said appreciating the blessings from Allah, you might say, oh, I appreciate everything. But not recognizing that it is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a deficiency in our gratitude. So gratitude is two pieces. Very, very important. Is recognizing the source of the blessing and the blessing itself. You guys get that point? So that's very important. Now, Ibn al-Qayyim, rahimahullah, was a great scholar. He says that gratitude has 5 pillars. Gratitude has 5 pillars. Now, these are important because now, again, we're smart guys. And a lot of us now wants to have that character. Because maybe I'm kind of thankful for the stuff that I have, but maybe I'm not. Maybe I recognize certain things, maybe I don't recognize other things. Ibn al-Qayyim, rahmatullah alayhi, he says that there are 5 main pillars in order for somebody to be called someone who's grateful. Number 1 is your submission to the one who gave you that blessing. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the source of all goodness to all of us, true or not? Who created us? Allah. You guys need to answer. Who created us?
Allah.
Who provides to us?
Allah.
Who sustains us?
Allah.
Who allows for us to keep living?
Allah.
Who is in control of our organs? Who gives us oxygen every single day to breathe?
Allah.
Who is the source of the food that we eat? Who's the source of our own guidance? Now we can keep going all night, true or not? But the number 1 pillar of our gratefulness is to submit to the one who gave us all these different things. Is I submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The number two is that I love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for His blessings. Because imagine somebody who gives you all the time. He keeps giving you. Imagine a friend. Some of you guys might have close friends. This friend, every time he has something going on, every time he's hanging out, he hits you up. Hey bro, I'm going to the movies, come through. Hey man, I'm going out for dinner, come through. Hey man, I made food for you. Hey man, I did this. Every single time something happened, this person is always there for you. And now, you don't love them, you don't care about them. They're just there. We're not grateful if we don't do that. So the second pillar of gratitude is loving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because He is the source of that blessing. Number three is recognizing that it is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, sometimes, this is very important. Sometimes, people have, who's here is an A student? Straight A student. Okay, I'm not asking you to show off or anything, right? But sometimes, and I hope none of you guys are like that, inshallah. Sometimes we attribute our intelligence to ourselves. Listen, I'll tell you guys something. There are people who are smarter than you, but they don't get A's because of their circumstances. There are people who live in certain parts of the world who have to work at the age of 13, 14, 15 to be able to support their family.
You do that at any age.
Of course, but at a very young age, it's very hard. So they're very smart, they're very intelligent, but maybe they don't have the time to study. Maybe they don't even have the time to go to school. You know, we take school for granted. Oh man, I hate school. You know, there are people in certain parts of the world who wish to go to school just one day because their school is just not there anymore, or they live in very hard circumstances, or their parents took them out of school because they have to go to work at the age of 12. And this is the reality. Now, living in America here, we were like, man, I don't want to go to school. Right? But subhanAllah, sometimes we don't recognize that even the stuff that we have is a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we have to recognize that anything that we have is not because of who we are, it's because Allah blessed us. I don't have an A in all of my classes because I'm smart. And even if I am smart, it's because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant me that intelligence. It's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The third pillar is to recognize the source, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number four is to always be appreciating of that blessing. That you never stop appreciating, for example, your parents. Right? How many of us here fight with their parents every single day? Almost every single day. Right? And it's like, man, some of us are so rude to our parents without realizing that parents are one of the greatest blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? Our parents, the guys in the back, are the greatest blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the fourth thing when it comes to gratitude is that always thanking and appreciating Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for His blessings. And the fifth, which is probably the most important one, is that us using that to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How many of you guys have good voices? Voices, like you have a good voice. Or reading Quran. I wasn't going to sing part. But okay, fine. For singing. Right? So think about that. So a lot of us are blessed. We don't choose to have a good voice. It's Allah blesses us, some of us with good voices, some of us have terrible voices. Right? Which is fine, but what I'm trying to say here is that we can use it to become Hollywood stars, or we can use it to lead people in Salah and Tarawih and Ramadan. So one of the ways, or one of the pillars of being grateful to Allah for Allah's blessings is using it in the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Very, very important. So the 5 pillars, again, really quickly, is number 1, is submitting to the one who granted you your blessing. Number 2 is loving the one who granted you the blessing. Number 3 is recognizing that it is from him. Number 4 is always and be in constant appreciation of that blessing. And number 5 is to use that blessing to get closer to him, which all of this obviously is attributed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, in certain cases, there are other people who might be the source of blessing for you. Like, for example, like your parents. Like, some of the reasons we live in comfortable homes is because of our parents. They worked really, really hard for us to have nice houses. They worked really, really hard. Some of them had to work 2 jobs. Sometimes the 2 parents are working. Sometimes both of them are working 2 jobs. So every one of us can have a comfortable home. Now, we have to be appreciative of that. And we have to always recognize that, oh my mom, oh my dad, if it wasn't for you, I would be nowhere. If it wasn't for what you did for me, Allah knows where I would be. If it wasn't the fact that every single day you pushed me to do my schoolwork, I probably would have been a dropout by today. We have to recognize the blessings and always appreciate our parents, and there's so many other things. Our imams in the masajid are blessings, right? Brother Tariq, who's not here, somebody who organizes a lot of the events, we need to appreciate him, you know? We need to appreciate the fact that, you know what, alhamdulillah, I'm able to come to the masjid and there's something for me in the masjid. I have to appreciate these people. Gratitude, as we said, is 2 parts. Any marriage is 2 parts, but gratitude specifically is being grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but also appreciating the people that live with us, the people that interact with us. How many of us here today were dropped off by someone else? Right? Did you tell this person thank you? Right? What I'm saying is now we need to keep thinking about this. When we go on our day, we would recognize that there are so many people that we are grateful for. So many people. From my teachers, my parents, my friends, the Sheikh in the Masjid, and there's a whole list of people that I can simply go to and say, thank you for everything you've done for me. And what I'm going to ask everybody, inshallah, when you go home today, go to your parents, give them a hug and a kiss, and tell them, Dad, Mom, I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you for everything you've done for me. Right? And if you did this yesterday, you do it today again. Because I promise you do stuff for us on a regular basis every single day. Did you have a question? Did you have a question? You had your hands up. Good.
Before you said like appreciating your like when your parents work hard and like earn the stuff they earn, isn't that a blessing from God, or did they just?
Absolutely, of course. So, really good question. So he said that when your parents work and they provide something from you, obviously it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granting you with your parents. But you should also appreciate your parents for working because they don't have to work.
Your parents give you stuff.
Right? I'll tell you guys a true story. Wallahi, I'm not making this stuff up. True story. I was talking to somebody a few weeks ago, and he's struggling through something in his life. But essentially, his struggle is around the fact that his dad doesn't work. And his dad does not want to work. He just doesn't want to work. For the last 20 years, his dad just sits home. And his mom works, and it's hard. The guy hates it. It's struggle. It's tough. Now again, some of us were like, it was the big deal. But to him, it's a big deal. He wants his dad to work. He wants to see that role model with his dad. So, going back to your point, you were like, oh, my dad works. Okay. Don't take it for granted. The fact that your dad wakes up every morning and goes to work, appreciate it. Because there's food on the table that we don't even have anything to do with it. We have to appreciate our parents. Now, did you have a question? Another question, comment?
Yes.
Yes.
Imagine yourself in like the guy you were talking about. Imagine yourself in his shoes. Like, how would you feel if your dad didn't go to work for, what did you say, like 20 years? Yeah. Imagine your dad not going to work for 20 years. How would you feel?
Exactly. Thank you so much. Yeah, and that's exactly. If we don't think something's a blessing, think about that thing not there anymore. Think about Allah taking it away. How would you feel? May Allah protect your parents and all your families. Yeah, I mean, but it's a serious thing. So the last piece, inshallah, I'm going to end up with is an example from the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. 5 minutes, inshallah, and then I'll wrap up. I took a lot longer than I anticipated, but that's hopefully a good thing. So one time, because again, we're talking about gratitude, we're talking about being thankful. And it has to do 2 pieces, being thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and being thankful to the people around us. There's an incident when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was hanging out with one of his wives by the name of Aisha. Aisha radiallahu anha was someone that the Prophet ﷺ loved so much. He loved her. He adored her. She was the most beloved to him. But earlier in his life, he was married to another great woman. Does anybody know her name? Khadija radiallahu anha. The Prophet ﷺ married Khadija for 25 years. And he did not marry anybody else with her, it was just her. And he loved her so much. And even after she passed away, she was somebody who was beloved to him. He would always talk about her. So later on in his life, when he was married to Aisha, Aisha was a very jealous woman. Aisha was a very jealous woman. So one time she goes to the Prophet ﷺ and she tells him, "O Messenger of Allah, you talk about Khadija way too much. And she's gone. She passed away. She's not around. And I'm your wife now. Like, I'm your beloved. Like, you're supposed to be talking about me, not somebody who passed away." But she said something that really bothered the Prophet ﷺ. She goes to him and she says, "Ama baddalaka Allahu khayran minha?" Didn't Allah give you someone better? As if like, Khadija passed away, I'm better. So she tells him, didn't Allah give you someone better? The Prophet's face turned so red. And he got so angry. Because of what Aisha said with Allah. Remember Khadija, he married her for 25 years. She passed away. Later on in his life, he married another woman by the name of Aisha. She loved him so much, he loved her so much. But even with her, he would always talk about the wife that she passed away. So Aisha, the second wife, didn't like that. So she goes, did Allah give you someone better? Like, stop talking about her. She's gone. The Prophet's face turned so red. He was so angry. And then he looks at Aisha and he says, "I swear by Allah, Allah did not give me someone better. There's no one better than Khadija." And listen to this carefully. Okay, the guys that are talking in the back. The Prophet ﷺ started listing why he loved Khadija and talked about Khadija. He said, because she believed in me when nobody else believed in me. At the beginning of his message, nobody believed in him except Khadija. She was the first person to support him and believe in him. That's number 1. Number 2, she says that she gave me all of her money when everybody ran away from me. She gave me everything that she has when everybody ran away from me. And then she's the only woman that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted me children with. So I can never think anybody's better than her. Now what's happening here, guys, for us to understand this, is even after the Prophet's wife passed away, he was still grateful for who she was. I want you to think about this again. She's gone. She's dead. She's been dead for a while. But he still never forgot what she did to him. He never forgot what she did. He always appreciated it. Because his appreciation with the people that support him goes beyond their life. Now for us today, it's very, very difficult. A lot of us really, we feel entitled. We feel like, yo, you're supposed to do this for me. Like, I want this, I want that. We feel very entitled. The Prophet did not feel this way. The Prophet always, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, always felt grateful for everybody that did, even after their death. So the Prophet had a great gratitude, a great level of gratitude to everybody around him and what everybody did. And there's so many other stories. I'm just highlighting one story for the sake of our discussion. The second story was also with Aisha radiallahu anha. When the Prophet was praying the night, He prayed the entire night to the point that his leg swelled. And it started to bleed. Because of how much he was standing in prayers. He was praying the whole night to the point that his leg started to bleed. We don't know how that feels. Because I don't think any of us would ever experience this. But Aisha goes to him and she says, Ya Rasulullah, why don't you take it easy? Allah already forgave you. You're already going to Jannah. Take it easy on yourself. You know what he said? Tell us, Rashid. You know this, come on, man. No, tell us. Come on.
Didn't he say, shouldn't I be thankful for what Allah gave me already?
Very good. He said, shouldn't I be thankful for everything that Allah gave me? What do you guys see here? In these two stories, what are you seeing from the Prophet ﷺ? He is grateful to Allah and he is grateful to the people. And what I really want everybody to leave, I'm done. What I want everybody to leave with today, there's a lot that we talked about. Okay? But what I want every single person, from the youngest man there in the back who's playing with his ball, to the guys on the phone, to the sisters, to everybody here, I want you to leave with two things. Is that every single blessing that you have is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we have to live our life appreciating what Allah did to us. The fact that we're Muslims is a blessing. I mean, we literally can sit here all day long thinking about the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We always have to recognize that it is from Allah, recognize the blessings, and be appreciative of these blessings. And always thank Allah for them. And then the second part is appreciating everybody around us. Our parents, our teachers, our brothers, our sisters, our imams, somebody who helps me, right? Our neighbors. There are so many people around us every single day who do something for us. And we need to be grateful to them. We need to recognize that we are nothing without them, and we need to go to them and tell them, thank you. Because the last thing I'll end with, inshallah ta'ala, and this is a beautiful hadith, where the Prophet brings the two things together. He says, مَنْ لَا يَشْكُرِ النَّاسِ لَا يَشْكُرِ اللَّهِ. Whoever is not grateful to the people is not grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you see that the Prophet is bringing the two pieces together. We have to be grateful to the people around us, and we have to be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for your semi-attentive listening. But I know, I recognize we've been talking for almost an hour, and the fact that a lot of you guys sat through the whole time. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'll take any questions or anybody have any comments. I have some chocolate here left if anybody wants. But before you grab, does anybody have any questions or comments or anything? Yes? Okay, well, you can ask me later. Okay, Jazakallah khair, subhanakallah wa bihamdik.
I want to get out of here. I'm like sick.
I got the movie there.
I didn't get it. I'm not drunk. No. Anyone can be
I'll eat swing to her. I want a slap box. You want a slap box? Slap box your brother, bro. Slap box? Yeah, you scared, bro.
Want to slap box again? Do it. At least try. Try and get me into a position where I'm not me out. Give me into a position where you're not me out. Do it.
Are you gonna like fire?
I'll have somebody on mobile.
Damn. You want a high five with him?
Why you want the white one, bro? I actually like the bro.
For sure.
Do what you're gonna do. Dude, just get it. Bro, I can't fight this.
Why are you playing?
Do it. You grabbed my hand. What are you gonna do? Do it.
Run! Just slap box me. I slap box.
Slapbox. Remind me what it is. I forgot.
Bro, you may be older than me, but it doesn't matter. How old are you?
Listen, wait.
How old are you?
1 second. Explain to me slapboxes again. I forgot. Hold on.
You don't write it.
Okay,
Those are your words.
Where then?
There?
Like a face.
Hell no, no. Last time Adam
Are you actually good though?
Wait, I'm ready to do it. Yeah, no.
You see, you destroyed him! I didn't know he was gonna actually do it, so you destroyed him! Are you Yeah, you were using it. You were using it.
She just slammed her
There's no way, bro.
You got smashed into a building. Okay, you have free punches because you can do mine. Free punches. Free punches.
Yo, I tapped. Holy crap. I tapped once. I was very much
Oh, God.
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing. No, he did. He's literally kicking me. He's kicking me. Yes, I really
Amen to that, brother. Why are you lying?
توكل على الله في الصلاة. الصلاة
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
استقيم يرحمكم الله تواصلوا معتدلون. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون كل آمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله لا نفرق بين أحد من رسله وقالوا سمعنا وأطعنا غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها لها ما كسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر السلام عليكم ورحمة الله